how do you feel like your life is different now? Like prior to being licensed, this is you should get a license. So prior to being licensed, after being licensed.
So prior to getting licensed, I always felt like I had to have a job.
Okay.
After getting licensed, I feel like I can sell myself more. I always have an opportunity. There's something that I can always do. And that's almost like people having a trade.
Yes.
If you're a carpenter, you can always be a carpenter. I'm an insurance agent. I can sell in all, 50 states. I've got a great opportunity here. So that's how I feel the difference is. I never have to work for someone.
Even in this environment that we're in, this virtual environment.
Oh yeah. I have to say this, Rod, our business has gotten better in the virtual environment. And I'm going to say this to agents that are out here getting that windshield time, that are beating the streets and knocking on doors. 99% of the sales that we do are virtual. 99%.
So, hey, recession proof, COVID proof, all of those things. So, all right, now I want to pivot a little bit. I want to pivot because you have Carrington Insurance. You and Antonio are running that agency. There's also Burning Bush LLC. I gotta touch on this one, in this interview. So how did that come about? And tell me about Burning Bush. Tell me about that.
Yes. So I am actually currently pursuing a Master's of Science in Medical Cannabis Science and Therapeutics at the University of Maryland School of Pharmacy. And I have always been interested in herbs, holistic healing, naturopathic medicine. I'm all into that. And I decided, well, let me go back a little bit further. We actually have our son has sickle cell disease, but he's a survivor. He's doing extraordinarily well. Wonderful. And a lot of that has to do with how we have treated him over the years, eating proper foods and not utilizing traditional medicine. And so as that passion has grown and we've watched how holistic methods, alternative options have really helped people, we decided that we wanted to be that resource in the space as well. So we started Burning Bush back in 2019. We had a brick and mortar location. We were so excited about it. And this is how this pivot. Everybody has to be able to pivot.
Yes.
Start in 2019, open up a brick and mortar location in 2020, and COVID hit. Devastating.
Oh, yeah.
Devastating. We have a lease, 3-year lease on a building. And that was a very difficult, hard pill to swallow. So the pivot came in place, took the whole business, put it online. And we found that our client base began to grow because it was the pandemic. People had access to getting something that really helped them. They were suffering from anxiety and depression, and they had pain management issues and just wanted to have, overall better wellness in general. And so this gave them that tool. And we took that space and we turned that into our insurance location. So we get up, we go to work every day, even though it's 99% virtual, but we have a physical space that we work in, and we manage our CBD business online. And our goal is to introduce anyone that's interested in alternative methods of treating their conditions and offering holistic therapeutic options outside of traditional medicine.
Mm-hmm. With the cannabis industry, it used to be, or even just talking about, cannabis in general, it used to be kind of a taboo subject. Mm-hmm. But now with the attention to not just physical well-being, but also mental well-being and how that relates to insurance coverages. I mean, you have disability insurance that's covering mental and nervous conditions. as well. And, and employee benefits, the space I'm in, mental wellness and employee assistance programs that kind of feed that are very, very popular nowadays. How do you feel how do you feel, cannabis kind of fits into the realm of your insurance business, or do you see them as separate?
They are completely intertwined. So I'm glad you brought that up as well, because as you know, we focus on Medicare sales, final expense, but we're really helping our members address the social determinants of health in what we do. And that's why we like working in that space, because we're able to provide our clients with access to benefits that help them with food insecurities, transportation, access to, when we talked about food and transportation, alternative medicine, acupuncture, all of these things are now available to some of, these clients based on the benefits that they choose. And in the space that we're in now, and especially with the degree that I'm pursuing, I am literally educating my centers of influence right now, pharmacists that I work with, that work for these managed care organizations, physicians, regional medical directors. In medical school right now are those that are doctors and they've gone through medical school. They didn't learn about medical cannabis.
Right.
It's still taboo for them. They don't know how it interacts with other medications. They don't know the benefits that patients can experience. They don't understand the therapy. And so when I'm speaking to clients, like I said, my centers of influence, sometimes I have to take off my insurance hat and put on my cannabis hat and talk to my behavioral health specialist and say, you know what, you might want to look at recommending medical cannabis to this particular client that's experiencing these issues. And I even help them in the state of Virginia with that process of getting approved for medical cannabis, the card. So those things go hand in hand. And I do believe, when I think futuristically, and again, being a political science major, is that the future is very close for us in regards to those two mixing, where insurance may one day pay for this as an alternative solution. So there's a lot that's happening.
Thought of that when you I'm like, can you imagine, the Medicare supplement that covers cannabis prescriptions?
It's coming. It's coming.
For seeing, listen.
It's
joints,
coming.
Nerves. I've seen some studies even in adolescents. Where instead of diagnosing some other chemical, bring this to the table to control Asperger's or even the MS.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So no. It's really fascinating. It's really fascinating. There's even been PNC agencies that are starting to insure cannabis growers as well. Now your company is a distribution model. Are you growing the CBD, or how does that work with you?
We have a license to grow. We are not currently doing that because we're doing a lot already. So we're not currently doing that. But we do work with a manufacturer to get our products produced. And so we follow them from seed to shelf, but we're just not in that space yet. We haven't closed the door on that. It's definitely a possibility. And for now, we're just specifically working in the CBD space and getting the education to take that further in the medical cannabis space.
Right.
So very exciting things are coming.
It's really expansive. And I say that, not just from the standpoint of having, this as a business and having it as a service available, but the fact that, this is something that you have kind of extended off of your agency, even utilizing, your agency space to kind of grow that business. It's very much out of the box thinking, right? And before recording, I was just saying, I think it's really admirable that you said, hey, look, you're kind of showing, hey, you don't have to just do this one way or to stay in one space, you can really kind of chart your own course.
Yes.
You know? So at this stage, you know, of your career, I mean, you've been successful independently, you've been successful in corporate environment, you've started another business that is successful. You have your children kind of joining the business, not kind of, but joining the business now. And already they have the mindset that this is going to be a legacy that our family continues with. What's the goal now? Like, what's the dream now?
So we always, matter of fact, it's so funny. We had our quarterly planning session today, just to talk about where we're going and what we anticipate. And we set a 3 to 5 year plan. And so the next goal is really focused on recruitment. And when I say recruitment, we're not looking for agents that want to be agents. We're looking for agents that want agencies. Mm-hmm. So our goal is to recruit leaders and to help them build our business. And that's our next phase. That's our focus for 2022.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you're recruiting nationwide right now?
Yes.
Nationwide. So wherever you are, wherever you're, international or just US?
No, just US.
Just US. Okay. New York as well?
We can do New York.
What? Look, if you're listening to New York right now, this is for you.
And I say that because one of the things about working in corporate America, Rod, is that we didn't start from scratch. We have very strong carrier relationships.
Right.
So those carrier relationships expand beyond Virginia.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So someone new, you know, who's joining the business, maybe they're thinking, you know, maybe they had an interview with a company, or maybe they know someone who got into the industry, or they saw an ad, you know, in the paper. What would you say to them about joining this industry, about joining the insurance industry?
I would say you waited too late. So let's get started.
Yes. Yes.
The sky's the limit.
Absolutely. And for you, if they do want to get started and they want to get started with you, mm-hmm. what's that process? How can folks get in contact with Nikki Carrington and Carrington Insurance?
So I'm going to give you multiple methods.
Please, list them all.
The email would be info@carringtonins.com. So that's info@carringtonins.com. I'll give you my direct number, which is 804-712-6324. That's this phone right here. So I actually always have that with me. So that would be the two best methods, phone or email.
Okay, great. So they can reach out email, they can reach out phone, you can social media, LinkedIn, it can reach out to you on the link on LinkedIn. We'll make sure we have those links, you know, in there to the site as well, so they can really find out, you know, all of the great things that you're doing. If they want to join your agency, because I know this is going to be a question, do they also get to be a part of Burning Bush as well?
We can have some side conversations.
That may come up.
Opportunities.
It might come up, you know. Look, I really appreciate, you know, you spending this time. You know, as I mentioned, I know that, you know, this is our first time really having a conversation, but I know it won't be, you know, our last. And I'm excited to see you continue to grow. I'm excited to get to know you and Antonio and just find out more about your family and your business and support it in any way that we can as well via this platform. And for those who are listening out there, you know, listen, you can start in insurance. You can transition to potentially CBD. You can transition to wherever you like. The opportunities are endless. You can keep growing and growing and growing. And, you know, as Nikki mentioned, you know, once you have that license, you can work for someone else or you can work for yourself. Either way, you're always going to be taken care of. And maybe throughout the course of this conversation, you heard something that made you think maybe you should get a license. So until next time, we'll talk soon. Take care.
Thanks, Rod.
Thank you.